All right, today we're going to tackle something that is absolutely critical for anyone moving to Google Cloud, building your foundation. Seriously, if you get this right from the start, you're setting yourself up for incredible speed and security. But if you get it wrong, well, you're in for a world of hurt. Let's dive in.
So what do you think it is? What's that number one mistake that so many companies make when they jump into the cloud? Is it, picking the wrong services? Maybe underestimating the costs? Nope. It's actually something way more fundamental. It's starting without a blueprint.
To really see what this looks like, let's imagine a company. We'll call them Innovate Inc. They're smart, they're moving fast, and they're all in on GCP. So what happens? Different teams just start spinning up projects left and right. Marketing needs one for analytics, boom. Engineering needs a dozen for new microservices. Sure, why not? And before they know it, it's chaos. That, my friends, is Project Sprawl. And this slide really shows the two roads you can go down. Over on the left, that's the path Innovate Inc. started on. That's Project Sprawl. You've got inconsistent rules everywhere, massive security gaps, bills that show up and give the finance team a heart attack, and everybody is constantly reinventing the wheel. But on the right, that's the alternative. That's a landing zone. We're talking central governance, security that's baked in from day one, and patterns you can reuse to actually go faster.
So this brings us to the solution, right? The actual antidote to all that cloud chaos. What we're talking about is creating that foundational blueprint before you even think about moving in your first application.
I absolutely love this analogy because it's just so perfect. Think about it. You would never ever hand a construction crew a pile of steel beams and just say, hey, start building a skyscraper. Of course not. You'd give them a detailed architectural plan. Your cloud environment, the thing that's going to house your most critical data, it deserves the exact same careful planning.
Okay, so let's put a real definition to this. A GCP landing zone is exactly that, blueprint. It's an environment that's already configured, it's secure, it's scalable, and it's all built on best practices. The main thing to get here is that it's not just about, making a couple of projects. It's about building an entire, well-thought-out ecosystem from day one.
So how do you actually build one of these? It sounds like a big deal, but it really boils down to a few essential pillars. Let's break down the core components you need to get this right.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts here with the GCP resource hierarchy. The easiest way to think about this is like a digital filing cabinet for your whole company. The organization, that's the cabinet itself. The folders are the drawers. You might have one for finance, one for engineering, one for production, one for development, and then inside those drawers are the projects. Those are the individual files where all your actual resources and work will live. Getting this structure right is the key to managing everything at scale.
All right, next up is what I like to call the nervous system of your landing zone, the shared VPC. Now, instead of every single project creating its own little network, which is just a total recipe for disaster with security gaps and wasted money, a shared VPC lets you create one central managed network that other projects can just plug into. This is how you enforce the same firewall rules for everyone. It's a brilliant way to centralize control.
Now let's talk about who gets the keys to the kingdom. This is all about identity and access management, or IAM, basically controlling who can do what. The golden rule here is least privilege. You only give people the exact permissions they need to do their job, and absolutely nothing more. And you do this with centralized groups, like a network admins group, instead of trying to manage permissions for every single person individually. It's so much cleaner.
And all of this really comes together around one core idea, centralization. Just look at the difference here for things like logging, security, and networking. With a landing zone, your logs all go to one place, which makes finding a problem 1,000 times easier. You enforce security policies in one place. You manage your network in one place. The other way, well, it's a fragmented mess that's both insecure and way more expensive.
So what happened with our friends at Innovate Inc.? Well, thankfully, they hit the pause button. They took a step back, and they actually invested the time to build a proper landing zone. So let's see what the payoff was for all that effort.
The results? Well, they were pretty dramatic. Before the landing zone, Innovate Inc. was just bogged down in all that chaos, deploying maybe 2 new projects a month. After, they were deploying 15. So why the massive jump? It's because their developers could finally just focus on building. They didn't have to worry about setting up networking or security or logging every single time. They got a pre-approved, secure template and just hit the ground running. The foundation didn't slow them down, it literally launched them forward.
And at the end of the day, this isn't just a tech thing. A well-built landing zone unlocks so much real business value.
Your security posture gets a massive upgrade. New developers can get up to speed in hours instead of weeks. Your finance department finally gets predictable bills they can understand. And when the auditors show up, you're ready and you can easily prove you're compliant.
Okay, I know this can all sound like a lot and maybe a little overwhelming. You might be wondering, where do I even start? So let's just boil this all down into a super simple, actionable blueprint to get you going. Here it is. This is your minimal viable landing zone. Just 4 steps. That's it. First, just plan out your organization and folder structure on paper. Second, set up that shared VPC for your core network. Third, define just a handful of baseline IAM groups for your main admin roles. And fourth, create one central project to collect all your logs. If you do just these 4 things, you have your foundation. You're ready.
By starting here, you completely avoid that chaos of project sprawl. You build a foundation that's secure by design, ready to scale, and just built for growth from the very first day. You've laid the blueprint, you've poured the concrete, so the only question left is, what amazing things are you going to build on top of it?